This is Cult Faction Podcast, Episode 5, Murders, Monsters, and Mutations.
Superman.
Hi, welcome to Cult Faction Podcast, Episode 5, Murders, Monsters, and Mutations. I'm Damian, and as usual, I'm joined by...
Brett Summers.
And...
Paul Hawkins.
And
together we are...
I know, I can't help it. It's just the one. It sounds like the natural
Cult
thing
Stallions.
Yeah, right. Let's move on quickly. So what's been going down in Groovetown? Brett, anything exciting TV world? Other than the Zack Snyder's Justice League, which we are not touching on again. We've done a bonus episode for that. If you want to know what we think, listen to that.
Yeah, we did chat a little bit about it. I have been revisiting some classic TV thanks to the Forces TV channel, which you need to be checking out. I've been looking at some classic V from the mid-1980s, which still holds up today storyline-wise. Effects-wise, maybe
in
so.
what way that we've been taken over by aliens and they're living among us?
Well, the metaphor of the Nazi regime on the modern era is quite a deep one and one I take quite seriously. Well, do you not feel that could be?
It stands up
with Summers on this one. Don't you diss me.
It's a strong story that holds true in the original series.
Don't diss Donovan.
By the time it gets to the mini-series where it became a regular weekly TV series, that's where it kind of jumped the shark and went off a cliff quite dramatically. But the original series and the final battle still are really good. There's some nice points in there. There's full of faces that you'll later see across TV. You know, like you say, the Beastmaster himself, Mark Singer, James Badler.
Legend.
Michael Ironside, who should have had a knighthood by now. He's Canadian.
Americans knighthood. Oh,
he's Canadian. He's a Canadian.
Yeah,
he's a Commonwealth. He's a Commonwealth man.
Oh, then we should start that hashtag going now. Who knew? Well, probably lots of people. I didn't.
Sir Ironside, Lord Ironside.
It's got a good ring to it, hasn't it?
It sounds like a TV show in itself that he could star in.
Reality TV show.
Yeah. Also, I've been watching a bit of Goodnight Sweetheart, the British time-traveling comedy, where basically, if you're not familiar with it, you're cheering on a man committing bigamy in 2 different time periods.
Yeah, I think that's a show in itself that we probably would need to discuss. The moral implications of that alone.
When you think about it, it's written for you to cheer him along and hope that he gets away with it and gets back in time. So yeah, that was a bit different in the modern era.
They did a revisit of that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did like a special
6 years ago.
Yeah, and I believe I think the daughter was older than
something like that.
I haven't got to
that bit yet, so I've not seen it.
Well, that was unfair because he could get his hands on as much chocolate and nylons as he wanted. The Yanks are one thing, but nothing compared to Nicholas.
Yeah, I mean, he was always going to be a player, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he changed the face of modern music with all the songs he wrote.
Yeah,
he wrote Yesterday, and I mean, maybe that's where they got the idea for that film from.
Yesterday.
Or Hot Tub Time Machine.
No,
Yesterday.
The Beatles film. Is that what it's called? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's called Yesterday.
So I thought I'm not going to watch that.
It's the dude from EastEnders on it.
Yeah, although he managed to get with the girl with his love of music as opposed to chocolate and nylons that he just pinched and took back to a different time.
It just sounds like Goodnight Sweetheart in a different wrapping. Anyway, sorry. What else have you been watching?
That's right. Resident Alien is getting from strength to strength. I do recommend, if you haven't jumped on that yet, you need to. Also, TV-wise, finally got hold of the new Trailer Park Boys series, Jail, where they're in jail. Some very good mathematical lessons learned from that, like the value of toilet paper in jail and what you can sell it for. And then basically, by spicing up the food, by smuggling lots of chilies and that, and basically poisoning the food with too much chili and powders, you can
Sounds
sell
like Jamie
more.
Oliver.
You can sell more toilet paper because people need it.
Yeah, definitely Jamie Oliver. He put chilies with anything.
Not quite like the Trailer
He
Park
does
Boys.
though. He does. He puts chilies in everything.
I wouldn't know because I don't watch anything that's got Jamie Oliver in, but there's nothing wrong with chilies.
Also, as I say, I watched that particular black and white film that just came out. What else have I been rewatching? Falcon and the Winter Soldier has just started. Very good.
Is that good?
Episode 1's done. It's a bit more espionage-y.
So do I need to know anything about the Marvel Universe to be able to enjoy this? Because it does look really good.
That one, I would say you probably do need to watch a few. You could probably jump into it, but it will ruin the films when you watch it because you would have.
He's not going to watch the films. He's not going to watch films unless they do a special on the films.
But we know.
Yeah,
That
is that the only way we're going to get Damon to watch them?
The Disney
and next week
Vice.
we're going to go back to Iron Man.
The Disney Plus Vice
is
is
17 bonus episodes through the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
He's sitting there, Paul. He's got that screen in front of him, and all those little pictures are there on the Disney Plus screen. And he's like, I really want to watch that one, but if I do, the lads are going to rip me. Because that's how he talks. Because he's not. And it's like, it will happen. Later on, you wait. He may have even seen one now. Later on, he'll be like, the fact that Wolverine's claws are made of adamantium, what effect does that have? I mean, something like that's going to sneak in an episode. Listeners, if you can listen in, try and spot it. I'm sure he's going to try and slip one in.
You've seen Wolverine or Logan, haven't you?
I've certainly not seen Logan. The last X-Men film I saw would have been in the early 2000s.
Yeah, that's right. They were all the shit X-Men films that weren't really the X-Men.
I didn't mind.
The only one is just Days of Future Past is good, and the one after that. What was the one after that? First Class and Days of Future Past are okay. The rest of them are just kind of they're all right, but they're not really. It's kind of like we went and saw Little Angels, but we wanted to see Guns N' Roses. You know, you kind of got it. You enjoyed it. You had a great time, but were they the greatest rock and roll band of the 90s? Or whatever it was. The feel-good band of the 90s, wasn't it?
Something like that,
I don't know. I learned about it at history because I'm young and cool. But yeah, Falcon Winter Soldier is good, but you do need to, I would say, if you want to go into it, do the Captain America films.
Oh, Jesus. No, I'll give that one a miss then. Thanks.
Jesus isn't in them. And I also rewatched season 1 of Superior Donuts, which is a sitcom. It's got that dude in it from Coming to America who plays Eddie Murphy's son. And it kind of made me go back and watch that. And they're really good and quite poignant for comedy. So obviously it got cancelled.
Yeah.
Because it was good, told a point, and wasn't quite slapstick. Ha ha ha. There was like a little point, maybe a little bit of racial tension between the police and things, and little comments and stuff. It was good, but now it's gone.
Yeah, kind of that.
Gone, blown away.
Got to be like Friends.
Yeah, it must be Friends. Who is the Ross? Paul. But anyway, but right. What you been watching, Paul? What's been on your list?
Okay, so apart from Dow's, which shall not be named because we did a special on it, that took up a lot. That took up a lot of my week. I've been Netflix binging and BBC binging and Disney binging. So I've done the I've done the realms. Apart from Jamie Oliver and catching up on some of his cookery shows, which we alluded to with the chilies. So let me start with Netflix. So after finishing a lot of our box sets on Netflix, we took up something a bit different from us, and that was Fate. And I need to say this carefully. The Winx Saga.
Oh,
That's right. Fate the Winx Saga. It's about fairies. Yes, it is. It's about fairies and their protectors that live in Hogwarts. I mean, a school for fairies. So basically, this is a cross between Hogwarts Beverly Hills 90210 with the good-looking 19s stroke early 30s characters blended in to look like they're in
playing
So you're saying
14-year-olds.
you
in high
fancy an
school.
insect?
Say again?
Are you saying you fancy an insect?
No, they're not insects. They're actual people. They're basically, it's basically Harry Potter, but like 19, 20-year-olds. They have magical powers, and we call them fairies.
Okay.
But they all look really good. They've all got
So,
great looking hair, even the men, all that kind of good stuff. And we basically binge watched the first series this week. Is
there an overarch for the season? Is there a kind of what's the story about apart from a bunch of fairies?
So there's this there's this main fairy that she doesn't know where she's come from. She's an orphan, almost a bit like Harry Potter. But she turns up and she goes to this fairy school, and turns out that she may have a special power that none of the other fairies have. Anyway,
do they have home economics at the fairy school?
No. Well, they might do. They
make fairy cakes.
They're not touched upon. Anyway, look, I won't go into the whole series anyway, but it's all right. It's actually quite dark, and there's some nice scenes of this evil woman, or this evil fairy that like breaks spines of her enemies and all this kind of good stuff.
So is it? Well, who's it aimed at? Is this a teen
that's the
thing?
problem.
Or?
No, that's the
not
problem.
us.
No. But
Never us. Hashtag not us.
We say this a lot, don't we? What's the demographic? I don't know. It's not me. I felt like
Did you not enjoy it, or?
It was watchable. To be honest, I was surfing the internet as it was on, but I was delving into it every time something interesting happened. There's swearing in it, as I said. There's some.
What do they drink?
This kind of butter beer. No.
Is it fairy liquid?
No. As I said, it's watchable. It kills the time. It's bubblegum TV.
What's it on Netflix? Did you say?
Yeah, Netflix. I wouldn't necessarily say you two would enjoy it and would watch the whole season.
Well, it sounds a bit like there's something else that's been going for about 4 or 5 seasons now.
The Magicians.
Magicians, that's the fella.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like that. I think
they're at a magic school, but it's not Harry Potter.
Filleroy or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, so it sounds very similar then. But there's going to be a season 2. As I said, there's only like 6 or 7 episodes.
Okay. Out
It
of 10?
kills some time. 4.5, maybe.
That's a resounding.
Is there anyone in it we know?
Yeah, probably. I haven't googled them. Or IMDb.
No, but like, we know, like,
come on a podcast to talk about TV, and you're telling me you don't know who's in the show you've just watched.
It's been a busy week.
No, but it isn't like Michael Ironside isn't the headmaster or anything like that.
That would make it a 10.
There's some familiar faces.
I would have watched it already.
You've got a notification on your phone.
Yeah. There are some familiar faces, but none that stick out. It's one of those ones. It's like, oh, was she off like an episode of Doctor Who or something? But I'm not going to IMDb it right now.
Okay. Anything else?
So we had a day at the cinema on Saturday without going to the cinema, and we rented or premium rented. I basically paid 20 quid to watch a film on Disney, which is Raya and the Last Dragon.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we got all the kids.
Any good?
We got all the popcorn and the treats. Got the surround sound up full, and it's all right. It's watchable. It's a Disney film. So it's a good film. It's watchable. Is it standoutish? No. Is it going to be remembered as one of the best Disney films ever? No. But it's worth a trip to the cinema in the front room for 20 quid as opposed to spending ridiculous amounts of money.
What would you go for that one then out of 10?
So I'd probably give that a 6 out of 10 because there's a lot of better Disney films out there. It's no Moana, but it's okay. It's got the lovable characters, the sidekicks in there.
Do any other dragons turn up?
Yes, there are dragons.
that she's not the last dragon. That's a lie. That
She,
film lies.
she is at the time of the film.
Oh, so you just ruined it for me now.
Maybe.
Spoilers.
But maybe
Spoilers.
maybe the other dragons come back. But yeah, it's Disney doing what it needs to do and churning out some films, but it's watchable.
It was going to be the release, wasn't it? It was going to be there this year's cinema jobby.
Yeah. Just reminds me. I need to stop saying watchable. I need to come up with some other terms for that saying.
Well, your thing, #watchable.
No, mine was #groundbreaking. This isn't groundbreaking. This is just.
I would imagine that some people might argue that it is based on the animation, maybe, but
no, it's not.
No, is it not?
No, there's nothing groundbreaking.
What did the tiddly peeps at your house think of it?
So I said to Connor, "Do you want to watch that?"
Who might be the target audience? What was the reaction from the kids? Was that oohing and ahhing and cheering, or were they all like asleep in 10 minutes?
So I said to Connor this evening, "Do you want to watch Raya and the Lost Dragon again, or do you want to have your dinner and have some treats and play with your toys?" And he said, "I'll play with my toys." To me, that's not a sign of a good film.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What about the girl? How did it hit the female market at your house?
So again, there's a big range in ages. They all sat and watched it in the lounge. So teenager. Well, I'm not sure whether that was just because she had some popcorn and some treats. But we watched it as a family, and it killed an hour and 50 or 40 minutes.
But they were no. I'm just wondering, like maybe it might be one that girls like more than boys or something like that.
No, I don't think so. No, it's not. It's got sword fights. It's got all that kind of kung fu battles and dragons and stuff, and it is quite funny in places as well. It's just not really standoutish compared to some of the other Disney films that have been out there. It's no Moana, it's no Frozen. It's just a gap filler, I think, until they come up with the next really big thing. So yeah, that's that.
Frozen was a throwaway, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and
it was proper. It's a sleeper in the true sense of the word, isn't it? It was. They never expected it to be the massive.
I don't think they even had the toys ready, did they? And it just suddenly went like.
They didn't.
Yeah, but the difference with that was a full-on musical. This isn't a musical. This is
right.
More,
okay. It's a film as opposed to. Yeah.
I think Mulan, but without the singing in it.
Without the moo.
And a dragon. Oh, I know there's a dragon in Mulan as well, isn't there? Yeah, but it's more down that. Yeah, there is. Eddie Murphy plays the dragon.
Shrek.
There's donkey in that.
Yeah, but, he plays a donkey in that. That's married.
That's the one he bangs a dragon, isn't it?
I certainly haven't seen Mulan.
Well, you will be watching Mulan over the next few years.
I know, I will. Exactly.
And actually, Mulan and Mulan 2 are, Mulan's all right. I can't believe we're talking about this on our podcast. But yeah, as parents...
To be fair, Mulan 2 Electric Boogaloo is a good film when she hits New York.
But Mulan's all right. Mulan 2 avoids. Shrek 1 is okay. Shrek 2's all right. Avoid Shrek 3, and Shrek 4 is okay.
There we go.
Spoiler alert.
Actually, Disney Plus sorted.
Yeah. And what was your last one?
Well, the other thing that we finished off was Bloodlands with James Nesbitt, which I was a bit disappointed about.
Yeah.
You watched all of that as well? Yeah,
we watched the two. We watched it.
I have seen nothing of it, so let's pretend we haven't discussed this before, because
we did talk about it
might be
before.
someone's first. I know, but I'm just saying every podcast might be someone's first podcast. Give me, what is Bloodlands? Just give me in a sentence or so. What's it about?
Well, I reject the fact that if people are listening, they haven't gone back to our back catalogue and listened from
maybe they haven't had the chance yet.
Yeah, this could be their first episode they're listening.
What else is going on?
They're still deciding if it's watchable. We're not Disney Marvel.
Okay, so a quick synopsis. So Bloodlands is James Nesbitt, who's in Northern Ireland as a police officer. He was involved in an investigation years and years ago where his wife was potentially killed by a IRA member.
How was she potentially killed?
Well, she's gone missing. The premise is that
she's missing. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Potentially killed. So is she still alive?
Whatever, so
I got you. Yeah, cool.
You don't
And
I-
at the time, there was a person that was trying to make sure that whatever cost the peace agreement happened, and they may have killed some people to make sure that happened. And he might have been a bit bad and done a bit nasty things.
I thought it was the opposite. I thought this guy didn't want the peace process to happen.
I thought he wanted it to happen.
No, I
But
thought they
he
because they
did some
covered
nasty
it
things.
all up to make sure that it didn't derail the peace process. I'm sure that's what the guy said. It doesn't matter. It's not
It does.
important. If you're
No,
gonna
you're
watch
right.
it, you'll know. You'll
Anyway,
find that out for yourself.
and then 20 years later, there's been another kidnapping, potentially by the IRA or a copycat person of the person that did originally, or was it the original person? So they try and hunt down that person, and they may or may not find some bodies. May or may not be James Nesbitt's wife. And you is James Nesbitt a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he on the right, the wrong? It was. Yeah,
It's like anything he's in.
It was kind of
we did
lackluster.
mention this before. He's very watchable, and the stuff he
he
doesn't
is.
do,
He doesn't do anything
throw
wrong.
away rubbish. It just, I think, like it's just a bit flat towards the end. It doesn't, it's flat.
And it's a bit predictable.
It's 4 hours. Let's be honest.
but-
It's a better 4 hours spent than I spent a couple of nights ago.
I
watching something
disagree.
black and white. So
The problem I had was it is a bit too predictable, and it ended pretty much as how I thought it was going to turn out. I don't know whether
and his son was dead at the end, but that was a different program, wasn't it?
but as I said,
Spoilers.
But
turned out his wife was killed in the car crash just after they bought a house.
But it's a few episodes, and James Nesbitt and a few of the other cast did a really good performance. It just wasn't groundbreaking. No,
Well, a lot of these they start well, and then they kind of you get those sort of. I mean, I haven't seen this one, so I can't say. But like other shows like that, you get that by about that third or fourth episode, you're like, okay, you can just get on with it now, and then they just.
I very much felt like that.
There were no. I was waiting for the build up and the crescendo and all this, but it just wasn't really there. It just kind of meandered along and didn't really go anywhere. And even when it did, you kind of knew where it was going to go anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, don't watch it. No, but
there you go. You just saved everyone 4 hours.
No, but on the plus side,
which you can also do by checking out our Snyder Cut special,
which is also 4 hours long. And we're not necessarily discussing it in the news this week, but something I saw on the Cult Faction website was the Wheel of Time is coming out.
Yeah, people are going crazy over this. I had no clue what it was. I got the press release with the trailer, and I put it up, and suddenly it was like bang to the top of the charts, and everyone was going mad about it.
See, I was a great fan of Wheel of Time. So
cool.
Wheel of Time.
Tell us about it. Tell us.
Enlighten us. Me in particular. Because I just thought of Nicky Campbell, and that's the Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Time is like loads of books. I think there was 12 or 13 of them by the time I stopped reading them, because when you read a series and get to the point where you're caught up with the author, and by the time the next one comes out, you're already on to something else, or you've had a wife and 3 kids, but because it takes that long.
Never happened with me in the Mystery Man.
Did you get that the right way? Yeah, you did get that the right way around.
Yeah. So Wheel of Time was a series of novels created by Robert Jordan, I think. Apologies, I should have.
Yeah, Robert Jordan, you're correct.
Yeah. So basically, what it is it's set in a fantasy land, and there's women. And apologies, I don't know how to pronounce it, because in your head you're reading it and you just know how to say it. So there's something like Sadie, or is AES Sadie, or Sadie is how I always used to make it up in my head. And they're basically witches, but they summon powers. But there's a prophecy of a male person that can channel magic called the dragon, and so basically Moraine comes to a village, and she tracks down this bloke that does is able to channel magic, and it's basically 10 or 12 or 13, 14. I don't even know how many books there are now of his progress and how he learns to do magic and how he fights the bad guys. And it's brilliant series for anyone that loves fantasy novels. And yeah, I must have spent the best part of 2 years, not solidly, but you know, when you're on the train, I go through those, and they're just great books. And it's like, you know, dark magic as well. You know, some of the powers that he has is very like manages to chop a whole army in half and all this kind of stuff. And he basically has to fight off the worst evil baddie in existence, and he spends like 6 months in what is purgatory or hell, being, you know, tortured. It's just twists and turns, but it's that great setting where it's like 3 village boys that go off and fight big battles, you know, Lord of the Rings style, and one of them, in this case, just
is this going to be a TV show or is it a film?
Yeah,
I haven't seen this on the website.
It's going to be on Amazon.
So they're hoping for the sort of next Game of Thrones type.
Yeah, I think
it's got to be better than The Witcher.
Looking at it, it's pitched younger.
But I think that's the issue. I've got 2 potential issues with this. Is to do it justice, it needs a big old budget, because the other series, the fantasy series that I enjoyed was the sort of Shannara, and the Shannara Chronicles, when it was released, was poor, because of the lack of budget that went into that, and it went off on a tangent as well. And again, if you know, this should be Game of Thrones type production to make it any good, and whether it will be or not, I don't know. But there's nothing to see on the trailer at the moment. You know, it's like a few seconds, so there's nothing really to go on.
Yeah, they've got that. Is it Moiraine? Did you say Moiraine?
Yeah, Moiraine. Yeah,
Moiraine Damodred. She's being played by. What's that? Rosamund Pike.
That's right. Yeah,
Rosamund Pike. You know, Die Another Day, Gone Girl, Pride and Prejudice, Jack Reach Around. What else is she? Moomin. She was Moomin the Mama in Moomin Valley.
So they're not scrimping on the cast then.
Gone Girl. I'm just seeing what else. That's not what I know her from. What do I know her from? It's
Rosamund Pike.
I'm reading out what she's been in, but I'm trying to read out like what do I. It's something I know her from, but it's not.
But as I said,
you guys carry on.
These are big books, and there's like 13 or 14 of them. So to do it justice, and as we're talking about on the Zack Snyder podcast, do they have that vision of investing enough time and effort to make this a series of Netflix series?
Well, this is Amazon to start with. It's 6 episodes, so I'm guessing that would be the first book. You know the books, not me, but it's going to be 6 episodes. So I'm guessing that might be the first book. I'm just seeing who else is in it. Lots of people with great hair.
Like they just stepped out of a salon.
Juliet Howland's in it. She's done Dark Glass. She was in EastEnders actually at one point. I think she was a doctor. Touch of Frost, Skin. She was the music teacher. It's one of those. If you see her, she was in V for Vendetta as well at one point. But she's one of those sort of British actresses, actors. You can't say actresses anymore. My apologies. It's one of those people that's sort of been in stuff and you'll recognise her face. But no one else is really jumping out to me. I'm just flicking through the cast now. Oh, David Stern, who was the old knight in A Knight's Tale, and he was the boat captain on the boat that rocked. He's basically the sort of balding, white-haired dude with a beard in any British film that you've seen. And Casualty and EastEnders and on Detectorist. If you watch Detectorist, he was Larry Bishop.
Love that.
That's it. Larry Bishop from Detectorist. That's one of his more recent credits.
Who was
but I still need to watch that. Larry Bishop.
Oh, if you haven't seen it, you've got to watch Detectorist.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic.
And
You should
let's see what
actually
else
probably
is
stop this recording now and go and watch it. It's
Go
that
watch
good.
He's been in Death in Paradise, so he's all right in my book. But yeah, no, but it does seem they've got some trusty hands on that show. It's not just like here's some like attractive young people, off you go. It does look like they've got some like veteran hands on there to help steer the ship. So it does look like they're putting their eggs in a basket here and hoping that this is going to be a phenomenon, I guess.
These series progress and become really dark. There's some.
They go Zack Snyder dark.
Darker.
Ooh.
So as I said,
do they go
powers,
chrome? Do they go chrome?
Cutting people in half, all that kind of stuff. People being tortured. So as long as this is more of a Game of Thrones type rating.
I'm not sure that's what they're going for.
Exactly.
But you can find out. We don't know yet. We've only had a teaser. Okay, moving on. Damian, what's been on your watch list?
Not a huge amount because I had to spend 4 hours watching a spandex film, but I've lost my list. So Bloodlands, we already talked about that. I watched that, sort of almost binge watched that as a sort of cathartic exercise to bring me back to reality.
What, Northern Ireland when you're out there with your trouble?
Yeah.
Something to cheer you up after that.
Yeah, exactly. After the bleakness that was the Snyderverse. Started this. I think it's the 4th season of Unforgotten. I don't know if any of you have seen any of that. It's Nicola Walker is a detective that it seems that I think she's like a cold case detective as opposed to like a general detective. I don't know if that's even a thing. But I think I
just love the fact that you just shoved in the term cold case detective, like everyone would know what that is. Brilliant.
We all know what.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know what that is.
But
cold case.
I mean, it's called Unforgotten, so I would imagine that is the premise is that's what they deal with.
Dig up the old cases that haven't been solved.
But they don't. That's the thing. It's not. It's not like what was that? There was a thing years ago on BBC called. I was about to say Walking in the Dead, not Walking the Dead, Waking in the Dead. Yeah,
they also
they specifically dug out cold cases, didn't they? And there was a TV show Cold Case in America. But no, this is it's more a body is found, and then the body has been there for 20 years or whatever it is, however long. And I think it's 20 years in this particular season. But it's really good actually. The first 2 or 3 seasons that have been on have been really good. This one's shaping up to be that way, but. It's much to my annoyance. It's not on the ITV hub, so you have to wait for a weekly episode. So I decided to stop watching the second episode, wait for them all to be aired, and then just we can go back and binge them. But
she was
in the Spooks.
Walker.
She's in loads of things. She's brilliant.
She's
really good. It's saying character.
The Last Train. That was what I was trying to remember. The Last Train. That was.
From Busan.
No, it's The Last Train where it's like they're all on it, and then it's like as the world ended, and they're the only people left and stuff. It was a short-lived good show in the late 90s on BBC One, and also just found this out from googling, she was the terrible folk duo at the wedding at Four Weddings and a Funeral.
That's right. Yeah. She's in that. She's done lots of things. She does a lot of radio stuff as well. There's a lot of radio plays and things that are on BBC Sounds. She's just brilliant. I think she's really good. So, and I don't know the guy's name who plays the next down. He is, yeah, and he's equally as good.
Oh, is that one?
Yeah, it's just a good show. It's worth watching. It's not, it's not on the scale of the HBOs and the American whiz bangs that you get. It's much more downbeat and more about the personal lives. I mean, it's called Unforgotten, which is a kind of reference to, we're going to find out what happens so these people don't go unforgotten. It's that kind of thing. This is really good.
Cool.
So watch that.
Oh, well, was that BBC One?
No, it's ITV.
ITV.
And I think the previous seasons are on ITV Hub, but not the current one, or rather, not all of them are. I'd imagine they have like last week's episode on there, because that would just be plain stupid not to do that.
But that is TV, and that's what they do.
This is true, yeah. And after watching Beastmaster a couple of weeks back, I was inspired to revisit some more 80s fantasy. So I decided to rewatch Krull, which I hadn't seen.
Yes.
It was a staple of going around my nan's in summer holidays, and that was one of the only films that she had on VHS. So would have watched it at least once a week.
Your nan is cool.
During the Christmas, not Christmas holidays, summer holidays and stuff. And I think it still stands up. Obviously, the effects don't stand up to today's standards, but you don't judge a film from the 80s on its effects, because that's just plain stupid. CGI didn't even exist back then. But I mean, compared to Beastmaster, it's much better anyway. But it's still an all-round damn good film. So if you haven't seen it before,
there's a
go back
lot
and
of
check it
people
out.
in that film. I mean,
Yeah,
Liam
you got
Neeson.
Liam Neeson, you've got
Liam
Robbie
Neeson,
Coltrane, Alan
Bernard
Armstrong,
Bresslaw.
Bernard Bresslaw, the legend that is Bernard
Yeah.
Bresslaw. Todd
Francesca
Carty even
Annis.
pops up in it.
Yep.
He's a hero of cult in himself. Teen pin-up idol turned soap star, superstar, and ice skating legend Todd Carty. And Lisette Anthony.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
they
in-
weirdly dubbed her voice in this. So obviously, at the time, they didn't think that an
Is
English
she,
accent
is
would
she,
go
is
down
she
well.
Northern?
No, she's not.
No,
Northern. She's
not
she's
so.
like
Normally Northern. Because I only
got a
found out
lovely-
the other day, Kevin and Perry, Kathy Burke's voice got dubbed on the American release. 'cause people
No,
couldn't
she had a typical
got a normal
posh
sort of
almost
posh.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Middle English.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that doesn't sound right now because of Lord of the Rings, does it? When you say Middle English, I know it's Middle Earth, but
She
it's
didn't speak Elvish or anything.
yeah. But yeah, they dubbed her voice, which is a bit off-putting because you can see it, if that makes sense.
Did they dub her Northern? That would be even funnier.
No, they dubbed her with an American accent.
Look out now, Krull, like.
Hey up. Here
Hey
comes
up.
that weird eye.
Then Sean Bean comes on and gets killed off instantly.
Yeah, he's killed in the first battle. But no, really good. It still holds up well.
That's the one with the laser guns that were swords, isn't it? And they
That's
can walk
right.
up walls.
Well,
They can.
and one of the greatest shurikens ever.
Oh yeah, Michael Elphick did a voice.
Eh?
Michael Elphick was the voice of Robbie Coltrane's character. I've just looked up on IMDb. So they hired Robbie Coltrane and then dubbed him over with Michael Elphick.
Clearly didn't like his Scottish accent either. Then
That's just crazy. I was looking up to see. I'm just wondering who they dubbed her over with. St. Anthony got dubbed over. She got dubbed over by Lindsay Krause, who is actually Judge D. Andrews in Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and has actually had quite a big career. I was imagining it was going to be like
be a one-off, yeah.
yeah, and she was Professor Maggie Walsh in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She's been in a lot of stuff for a lot of episodes as well, not just your obligatory Columbo and Murder She Wrote, Hill Street Blues, for ages. Man, she was like, I've never heard of her, but she's been in every. There's a picture here, and I do recognise her now. I think she's had some work done since, but yeah. Okay. Other thing I was watching, I just realised I didn't say it earlier. Really cool new film coming out called The Tangle, which I've written the review for, which you can check out on cultfaction.com. Really weird film, in a good way. It's kind of a futuristic, matrixy kind of. It's like the Tangle is like this sort of online world where you have an avatar and you can go online and do stuff, but then you have like these agents, and one of them gets murdered, and they're trying to work out how to do it because you shouldn't be able to kill one of the agents because they can get in and out of the world, and it kind of becomes basically it's a sort of detective noir kind of thing. I've said that wrong.
Okay. Yeah,
Noir.
I can't.
Noir.
I pronounced it really bad in our pilot or second episode or whatever it was. I can't. It's one of those words that I can't pronounce, but I know
Noir.
exactly what you mean. That's the one.
Noir. Yeah.
Noir.
Is that,
Wow.
but it's kind of
Like nugget. Is it nugget? Or was it nougat? I don't know.
Nougat. But yeah, it's very yeah, it is sci-fi, but it's not because
It
it's
sounds very much like Matrix, to be fair.
It does. We don't need. Well,
no, but you
if
don't
you've seen my article on
you don't really
thingy.
need to see much. There's not that much of it because it's not the whodunit of it, and half of it is about 4 or 5 people in this room and everyone's story
Okay.
checking out and all that, and then
Is it a British film or American film or what?
I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure. One of the main characters in it is
Michael Levick.
Nicole is Nicole De Silva, who was in Wentworth, the remake of Prison Cell Block H.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the other actors are American, so I don't know if it's sort of a co-production, but it is very indie in a good way. I mean, there's clearly, there might not be that much of a budget, but the way they do it is very claustrophobic anyway, and it fits because one point it's just them the two sort of the agents questioning this guy they think it is, and it's just them three in a room for ages, and then the other character turns up. So it's all put sort of very Hitchcockian as well, different people in the room, and you're kind of everyone, like looking around, who could it be? Remind me a bit of Rope, like where there's the body in the box, and are they going to get to it or not? And it's very but it is very exposition heavy. So it is one of those ones you've really got to sit there and watch it. Otherwise, if you go and make a cup of tea and come back, no point carrying on.
Fair enough.
Now, if you fell asleep for half an hour and woke up again, you wouldn't have a clue what was going on. But yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10. There's a lot in there. It's got an air of mystery.
Is that a Netflix, Amazon?
That is being released. That is being released as we speak. This is a fresh. This is a fresh cut. Let me just see the release info that I've totally not got handy. Yeah, so when's it coming out? It's being released on March the 19th, 2021. It's basically going to be VOD everywhere. So check out your video on demand. It might turn out on your Amazon, might turn out on Netflix, depending on where you are in the world. But it's Downwire Productions. And yeah, really worth checking out. But it's a very intelligent sci-fi kind of noir, but where you do have to watch it. So if you're putting it on for a bit of Netflix and chill, you're probably not going to get much chill because you're going to be trying to pay.
I don't think anyone of our age demographic listens to this podcast.
Can we change the podcast to Noir?
Noir?
No.
Noir.
Can no one say Noir?
Noir. I aren't saying noir.
Why are you aggressing to Hampshire farmers? Noir. I watched a bit noir the other night. It was was it detective noir? No, it was a sci-fi noir. Oh, it's great. It was.
Oh dear. Anyway, should we move on to? Have we all done what we've been watching for this week?
I
did have something I'm really looking forward to watching, which kind of is.
That's a whole different segment, isn't it? That's what we come up to at the end.
As we said, moving forward.
Yeah, but you've got the whole news items first.
It's just the news item. I was linking to it.
Oh, okay. What's coming up next, Brett?
So that's one of the things that I have been watching. One of the things I'm looking forward to watching, which is one of our news items this week, is the trailer has dropped for The Banishing. And if anyone has
Banishing. So I have seen the trailer for it.
Yeah.
It is right up my street. I don't know anyone else.
Give us the lowdown, Brett.
Okay. Brown Finley stars as a young woman uncovering dark secrets in her new home. Sean Harris is a ghost hunter, Harry Price, and John Lynch is a sinister man of God.
It's a Harry Price, is it? I didn't realise that. Sorry.
You can explain that to me in a minute because I don't even know what that means. Smith expertly delivers a handsomely mounted period mystery based around the spooky real-life Borley Rectory tale that steadily builds to a satisfying climax, twanging the nerves along the way with creepy dolls, shadowy figures, religious mania, and the terror of madness. A story of isolation and a family strained to breaking point. The Banishing is the perfect lockdown-era chiller for fans of spine-tingling chillers like The Others and Rebecca.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that sums it up as well, doesn't it?
And the trailer is very much, your classic horror house, like Haunting a Hill House,
It
that
is,
sort of
isn't
thing.
it?
If
Yeah.
you like
It
that,
is,
you're going to
definitely.
love this.
It's got
But
a hint of
who's-
M.R. James about the premise, and certainly the trailer comes across like that. I didn't realise it was in the
Who's
the
Harry Price?
Price.
Who's
So
Harry Price?
there's
Get
there's
Damian. Get Damian. He doesn't know DC. He doesn't know Marvel. Who cares? He's
get me on
Neil
Ghosts
Harry
on there.
Price.
Get me on Ghosts, and I'll give
He's
you
got
the
a
lowdown.
sweet spot for Damian.
That character has popped up in a couple of films over the last 10, 15 years. Film names escape me now, but
Is it the one? Was it Barry from Auf Wiedersehen Pet that played him?
No. Oh, I don't know. I don't know who Barry from Auf Wiedersehen Pet is. So
I forgot. Tim. No, what's his name?
he's relatively
Tim
I'd say
Spade.
famous now.
Spade?
No,
Spade?
so you're thinking of Timothy Spall. It's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
no,
The TV series isn't as old as that. It's only, I'm talking like 2004, 2005, something like that. The guy who played him in that series, which I haven't actually watched it, but looking at the whatever you call it, the title card on Amazon, he's been in quite a few things recently. So he's probably a little bit bigger now than he was when he did that show. You'd have to Google it because I can't tell you who he is.
Yeah.
But he's been in quite a lot of things. I think he might have been in that. He's only watched the War of the Worlds over. I think it was Christmas the year before last now.
Oh, Sean Harris. Yeah, he was in the Borgias
he
as
was in
well,
that.
and he played Ian Curtis from Joy Division in 24-Hour Party People as well. If you want to go back that far to the ancient times of 2002.
I don't think we're talking about the same person.
I'm on about who's playing him in the film. Are you on about who played him in the TV series?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. In the film, he's played by Sean Harris. In the Banishing, he's played by Sean Harris. Sorry, but you meant in the TV series, didn't you?
Yeah.
You meant who played Harry Price in TV series. That's where we got confused.
Yeah. Trailer-wise, I thought it looked quite good. I'm glad that there's going to be a horror film or thriller or whatever you want to call it that isn't just torture porn. Because I'm hoping
the trailer sets it up
Heroes
well.
will.
Yeah, Rafe Spall played him.
There you go.
Told you, Rafe
Yeah, but
Spall.
I thought you were just chucking names out because I got said Timothy or
No,
or as he's more popular
and
name.
he was in the War of the Worlds.
He was, and he was
Yeah,
also
see, I got something right.
and he was also DC Andy Cartwright in Hot Fuzz. Yeah, that's cool. So we've got Spall.
Yeah. Do we know when it's coming out, where it's coming out, how it's coming out, if it's coming out? I suppose it is. If
It's coming out.
It's being released on in the cinemas and digital platforms on March the 26th, 2021, courtesy of the AMC Network Shudder. So most of it will probably
it's
go
not in
it'll be
cinemas,
cinema
though,
and
is it?
Shudder.
It's not in cinemas, though, is it?
It will be in some parts of the world.
Yeah, not ours.
Well, no, we'll probably get it on Shudder.
Yeah. I mean, Shudder's an interesting thing because there's been a lot of stuff on there which looks quite good.
Yeah, Shudder's really, really good actually. They get some really good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got all
some
the
of the
creep shows and stuff on there, haven't they?
Amazing.
and even some of the low budget stuff that they've, it's really interesting to see how much time and effort they've spent to try and get some of these stuff released. I'm sure Shudder did one which was, I could be completely wrong, but I'm sure it was about like the spaceships that have sentient awareness and all this kind of stuff, and they're actual monsters and stuff that was available on Shudder. That was almost crowdfunded, maybe. I could be lying about the crowdfunding.
Yeah, that sounds like it's just a weird fever dream. But...
It probably was on
Nicolas Cage,
Shudder
wasn't
then.
it? Did I tell you what's the colour of space or whatever it was with Nicolas Cage?
No.
Any good?
Don't just don't do it. It's so random. I kind of wanted to hate and like it at the same time, because I went in there with low expectations, and it actually bettered my expectations.
Okay.
So there were some good touches to it.
Do you know what? It's just but it reminds me of one of the story from I think it's the original Creepshow film that Stephen King's in, that the meteorite lands on the planet and he ends up going all furry and green and
mossy and
shoots himself in the end.
Yes,
that's what the trailer reminded me of.
It is a lot like
expansion
that.
of that.
but I think that's a good thing. It makes you feel uncomfortable watching it.
What's it called again?
I think it's Colour of Space.
It's been out a little while now. It's been doing for a while anyway.
Just checking the Arrow video app.
It's an Amazon Prime thing, isn't it? Speaking of Nicolas Cage, I do want to watch. I've already got it ready to watch. Is Willy's Wonderland? Have you seen the trailers for that?
I have seen.
I think that just looks awesome.
I have, but I can't remember what it is now.
So it's
Nicolas Cage.
It's Nicolas Cage locked in a children's play zone where the characters, whatever you want to call them, the models, the waxworks, whatever they are, only come out once a year to take a human sacrifice. It just looks
going on my
brilliant.
list.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch it.
What is that on? What's that on?
It's. I think it's an Amazon Prime again. I'm sure it is.
It's
not a free to watch. No, it's not. It's not a Prime. Rather, it's a rental. It's not included in Prime. You got to rent it. So
as long as
which is why I've got about 3 or 4 days to watch it.
As long as it's a £3 jobby to watch.
I can't remember. I don't think it was. It wasn't. It's not your Disney Plus £20. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just looks. You've got. If you haven't seen the trailer, Brett, watch the trailer. It's Nicolas Cage.
I think I've watched it, but I've forgotten until you said it.
In a play zone. It's all you need to know.
All like freak Nicolas Cage in the play zone. Are there clowns in it?
I think so. Yeah, it looks like it. But there's all kind of what you would expect in that kind of.
We
don't really have them over here, do we? But those kids where you take the kids for the birthday, and it's all. Well, we have play zones, but we don't have the same models and the character.
It's not the same league. Stuff. Not in the same league.
Absolutely. So that looks good. Well, it's probably not good, but it's going to be.
But the thing is, if they do it right, if they really did, do it right and make a big comedy pastiche out of a horror film.
That's what the trailer looks like. I mean, the point where I'm not giving anything away because I've only ever seen the trailer anyway. But the premise is, I think it looks like his tire gets blown out, and then it cuts to this guy saying, "If you spend the night here cleaning Willy's Wonderland, I'll pay for your car to get fixed." And then it cuts to some weird stuff, and then it cuts back to him in the kitchen wiping down the surfaces, and there's some teenagers behind him telling him that this place is dangerous and you're going to get killed, and he's just carrying on doing the cleaning. It's just the look on his face is, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I've got a job to do. I've got to get my car paid for. It's going to be the premise. So you just know full well that he's going to walk out of there the following morning soaked in blood and whatnot.
It'd be even better if he turned up in the GT Shelby.
Yeah, so that's
the car he needs to get fixed.
Another thing you're saying about Amazon Prime. Have you seen the new thing they got coming to it, Sensation, coming April the 16th? It's apparently it's mind bending. This is another one of their. I think it's going to be one of their pillars.
Is this the Mutants one?
I'll give you the.
Give us a synopsis.
I'll give you the thing.
Now.
Here we go. The film follows a lowly postman who is inducted into a top secret superhuman DNA program at a research facility.
Did you say abducted?
Inducted.
Oh, right, yeah. So
I may have said that.
It wasn't delivering his letters, and his van pulls up and just pulls him off the street.
It's revealed that he'll be able to receive, control, and send information based on the senses of others. Andrew, Eugene Simon, on a quest to uncover hidden truths about his family history, provides a top secret agency with his DNA in order to discover his ancestry. It's revealed that not only does Andrew have unlocked superhuman powers within his DNA, but his grandparents previously participated in a government program that tried to influence the human senses. He joins the program only to find he's not alone. Joining him.
No wonder there's so many nut jobs out there with tinfoil hats on when they
Oh, totally. And it takes place in the human countryside as well. In the British countryside, even. 'cause
The
there we go.
human countryside, as opposed to the Matrix.
I was reading the word human as I was on that. Yeah, it takes place in the British countryside as well. So it's, if you watch the trailer, I think it's Hertfordshire, and it starts off with like welcome to Hertfordshire. Here, there's like a man with a cow and stuff. But apparently it's a real sort of head messer kind of show. And is it real? Is it part of his mind? Is it?
And Netflix.
Yeah, Amazon Prime on the 16th of April.
Okay, a little while to go yet then.
It's a mind-bending sci-fi thriller, and it's been quoted as David Cronenberg meets Tenet. And
Really?
Martin Groff. Yeah, but they're just dropping.
Who said that? The director?
No, whoever wrote it, because remember the first 250 words show up in Google search engines.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw the trailer to that, and it didn't look like David Cronenberg or Tenet.
I didn't see any body horror in it at all. No.
I think they're reaching.
But also, it's been classed as a massive spoiler and a revelation. Some people said it was there already, but the Chinese trailer to Godzilla vs Kong has revealed a third character to the Monster Smackdown.
Yeah, no, this isn't a spoiler. This is just a reconfirmation, isn't it? Surely.
Well, it was kind of there. I didn't
Mecha Godzilla. Everyone knew about it. Everyone saw it.
Well, they do now. Spoilers. Spoiler warning.
Yeah, no, but
I think if it's in the trailer, I think you're allowed to say it. I guess that's what you mean.
But
so
the thing
laser
is,
beams.
But it's the Chinese trailer. It's not necessarily the trailer intended for our market. So
no, but it was a lot better, to be fair. Although Kong is going to save the world.
Well,
yeah, let's not go down this route again. We've done this in
all they're going to do
episode.
now is they're going to fight each other. Then the big one's Mechagodzilla's going to come along and screw everything out, and then they'll team up to defeat him and realise.
Yeah, so Kong's going to fight Godzilla.
Spoilers.
We've talked about this. Kong's going to fight Godzilla. Their parents, the mother's called Martha.
Yeah,
they're going to team up and fight Mechagodzilla and save the day.
Who even wants to watch?
Buddies.
Who even wants to watch Godzilla vs Kong now when we can wait 7 years and watch it in black and white in a special director's cut? And also, hot off the press, The Man Who Fell to Earth is getting a TV remake. It's going to be a series, but it's going to be based on Walter Tevis's book and the film starring David Bowie. So, yeah, I guess
who's the lead protagonist in this, Brett?
Mordo from Doctor Strange. Why, Paul? Who did you think was in it? Doctor Strange is one of those Marvel films you're going to get to one day, Damien. You might like that one. It's magic and Benedict Cumberbatch.
I like that. I like Doctor Strange. Am I the only one?
I liked it. That's what I just said. We'll get to it. I'm just saying to Damien, it's a more magic-y one rather than spandex, and it's Benedict Cumberbatch, which I thought you liked him.
Well, I like Sherlock. I don't have any particular allegiance to the
I would say,
unless you're talking about when he was in the radio airplane comedy that I can't remember now. That was really good, but that stopped because he got famous.
I think if you watch it, you'll realise that he has great depth and range.
So he's basically playing Sherlock in a frock.
Yeah,
it's not a frock; it's a cloak.
Okay,
but some good comedy moments in it as well.
Like
all the other Avengers type films.
But yeah, The Man Who Fell to Earth is dropping on Showtime in America.
So this isn't an
2022. No, this is hot news today.
That deserves something special. The Man Who Fell to Earth is dropping. You missed that, Damien.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And maybe Brett, you may not have realised that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realise the other one. I'm an English teacher. I'm like a wizard with words. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So it's just announced that we can start making it, not a. This isn't.
Yeah, they've literally announced it like in the last couple of days, or today, in fact. Yeah. Also, news that broke today as we record this. Disney are dropping Black Widow, Cruella. Free Guy, Ryan Reynolds' film, and The King's Man, which is the prequel to Kingsman. They're all dropping now on Disney Plus as well as cinema. So they're going to be Disney Plus Premier Access between now and December.
So Black Widow, I'm just generally not fussed about her own film. I'm sorry, but I always
Sexist.
no. It's just she was always part of the crowd, and she had her part to play, and she was quite cool in the odd scene. But do I really want to watch a whole film about the Black Widow? No, not
You
really.
don't want to watch a film with Scarlett Johansson in?
But there's just been so many of her doing exactly the same thing.
We'll
and she
find
did-
out. We
Yeah,
don't know
but
what
it's not.
she's going to do.
Well, it's not going to be anything very different, is it? It's going to be hour and 40 minutes or hour 50 minutes of her being the Black Widow. And
Isn't that what happens when you make a superhero film about a particular superhero?
no, exactly,
It's going to be an hour and a half of that particular superhero.
Yeah,
whole
but I
Old-fashioned, but
remember.
even I know that.
But to be
But the
fair,
whole
I can
character was
remember
better when
going-
she plays off with the other characters.
Well,
Maybe that's what
there
they're gonna
might
do.
be new characters introduced. We don't know yet. We don't know who else is in it. There has been a trailer. There's some people in
Yeah,
it.
no, I
But then I
watched the
remember
trailer
when-
though, and it didn't look anything.
Talk.
Your hand wasn't raised, but you may talk.
My finger is. That I was going to say is I can remember when they're going like, why the hell are they making a film out of Guardians of the Galaxy? That comic was trash and it was like a third string hero. That's going to be where Marvel drops the ball. I was a little bit wrong with that. I think it's going to be going back right through. So we'll see her being trained to be an assassin as a kid, and you'll see the Red Room and the horrific things that happen there to the Black Widows, like because basically all the when they graduate they get their wombs cut out.
Yeah, I know. Maybe, but I don't think
I
we'll
think
necessarily
you
see
get to
that.
feel
But with Villeneuve on the BBC, we've already had this assassin type thing. We've already had Black Widow with the Avengers. I'm not overly
but she
excited.
wasn't
That
an
doesn't
assassin,
sound to me
though.
like it's getting your vote, Paul.
No, but I may be proved wrong. I'll watch it, and then
it's just,
if
I mean,
I'm
I
wrong,
said
and if
the
it's
same.
brilliant film, then I will
I think the
I
one
will
thing
eat
that has
my-
damaged it.
nice cake in the cupboard.
I think the one thing that has damaged it is the fact that it's just been pushed back. They should have just, when it was due to come out, they should have just let it go on to Disney Plus or whatever. 'Cause it should have been out like last year, I think. And I think pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back, it's kind of made like, can they just bring it out already? You know, like what the anticipation that was there has become.
And the other thing is she's dead now, so this is going. Yeah, well, from the Avengers, so, but she's dead.
Well, Damien hasn't seen it.
So Damien's never going to see it.
And I'm unlikely to remember this conversation. So
Yeah, but she's dead. So it's set in the past. You know how it's going to end.
She's not dead. She's in the Soul Stone.
Well, she should
right,
be dead.
yeah, can we just move on?
What was the other
Black
thing you
Widow,
mentioned?
What was that? Soul Stone.
Soul Asylum.
What's next?
That's
What was the
neither.
other thing you mentioned, Brett?
What when?
There's another thing.
Oh, I'm just going through all the ones that Disney said that they're putting. They're just putting everything. Cruella, Freeman as well, Ryan Reynolds, which looks really
Seriously, they couldn't think of anything else, so they're doing the backstory of Cruella and why she hates dogs. Wow.
Yeah, don't need to know that.
cool. Yeah, but it sells a shitload.
Cruella is pointless.
Exactly. But it's going to it will appeal to a certain audience.
No one.
no,
If we have
it
to
will.
pay
It's-
for
it's-
£20,
You know,
No,
what's gonna
they
happen?
won't. No, they're just dropping. They're not.
I'm not.
not-
As long as they do, I'm not paying £20 for a premium access to watch Cruella.
You wait.
No one's going
I
to
can't-
force you to.
I
Well-
can't wait for in about a month's time. It's like,
Yeah.
I just have to pay 20 quid to watch Cruella.
Yeah.
Paying
The
Cruella anyway.
The
Say again?
girls, Emma Stone.
Hey, it looks it. I couldn't work out who it was with it because there's so much
the
makeup
girls-
on her.
The girls made me do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're away that weekend. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm not paying £20 to watch Cruella.
But you know what's going to happen then? She's going to get Harley Quinn, where suddenly everyone wants to be Cruella now because she's
Yeah.
misunderstood. It's like, you
Right,
should
let's
never
go to
let your
Damien for
child
some
dress up.
news.
Yeah, I've got some headlines, some
Oh,
stuff
off the news
that's
desk.
come out this week. So
We need a
Um,
news desk tune.
yeah.
News desk.
News desk. Anyway, David Hasselhoff is to play David Hasselhoff in a new German TV show.
Brilliant.
What's it about?
I don't know that much about it. These are literally just
Who
headlines.
cares? This sounds great.
He's going to be in a new German TV series in which he will star as a Hollywood actor, David Hasselhoff.
I hope
Will he
he's a
be-
detective.
I mean, I don't think you need to say any more than that. to
Will
be
he
fair.
be searching for freedom?
Yeah, I wonder if that is the only line I have, so I don't know what anymore. But,
Oh,
it
this
could be set back
this
in
could be
1989.
brilliant.
Never know.
This could be brilliant. Imagine it set back in the day
Yeah,
where
with
he
his
was actually an undercover
light-up
cop,
jacket and everything.
but has to do performances out over in Germany, and he solves crimes whilst doing it. If they do, I could write this.
Isn't that just Baywatch Nights?
No, this is in Germany with David Hasselhoff in a leather jacket, singing and saving East Germany and West Germany.
So let me see if I can tell you one more thing about it from the page I've got in front of me. The plot of the dark comedy sees the Hoff cast in a theatre play in Germany, only to be caught up in an international conspiracy of former Cold War assassins. Who knows what potential this has to light up our lives.
You never know, it might do. It might just do that. We all need a bit more of the Hoff.
In other news, Resident Alien has been renewed for season 2.
Yes!
You can stop your one-man Twitter campaign and just accept it. We will get round to watching it, and it has been renewed. So happy days for at least one person sat in this recording session.
Woohoo!
We got a new show coming in the works from the Duffer brothers and Spielberg apparently, coming to Netflix next year. It's an adaptation of the 1984 novel The Talisman by Stephen King.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So it's basically
I
a
don't know
combination of it's a combination of daddy issues.
Who knows? But apparently Spielberg bought the publishing rights 2 years before the book was even published. So I guess the screen.
What's the Talisman about?
No
I
idea.
can't remember.
I've got nothing. These are literally just headlines that I've taken off of various sources. Yeah. So who knows? It could be another Netflix Stranger Things phenomenon, or it could be. I guess knowing something about the book would help. But I mean,
It's about, if I'm right, it's about Jack Sawyer, a 12-year-old who sets out from Arcadia Beach, New Hampshire, in a bid to save his mother who's dying from cancer by finding a crystal called the Talisman. So again, no daddy.
yeah.
So
I mean,
that sounds
they
like
could
pretty
place it in the
much
same
every
universe
other
as the book. I mean, the
Stephen
book was
King
published in 1984,
book.
so I can see it being another Stranger Things insofar
Yeah,
as
he goes through
It's
the
1984.
American heartland and an area called the Territories, which is a strange fantasy land which is set in a universe parallel to that of Jack's United States. Individuals in the Territories have twinners or parallel individuals in our world. So it's a parallel kind of thing.
sounds like Fringe.
Yeah.
This just sounds like a teabag adventure. And I mean that in the TV
Sorry, it
series.
sounds like what?
We don't want to
Teabag
know what you
adventure.
get up to in your personal life. man.
It was a British
Keep the conversations
it was a-
light, yeah.
it was a British children's series of shows. You can read an article about it on cultfaction.com.
Cool. Okay.
But
Let's
it
move on to
sounds
some more
right.
headlines. There's
Yeah.
going to be at least 6 spin-offs from Game of Thrones. Were we aware of this fact?
What?
It
Yeah.
seems to be
6.
going up every day.
Yeah. I've actually put at last count in brackets here for the for my notes because why?
Oh, I mean, I'm up for it, but the biggest question is: are any of them going to be in black and white?
4 hours long per episode.
And 4 hours an episode.
Oh,
If it's not,
they
then I'm just
can't
not
think
interested.
of anything else to do, so they're just.
Well, it's just all the stuff they cut out before, and now they're like, we've still got loads of stuff left.
I kind of get there's going to be a prequel. What are the other 5 going to be? Jesus, I mean, how much blood can they get from the stone? Oh, literally. Oh.
Yeah.
That might be one of the books.
Yeah, who knows?
Blood from
I
the
don't think we need to
stone.
dwell on that. That's just a there you go. If you didn't know, there's going to be 6 spin-offs.
Have you watched Game of Thrones, Damien?
I watched the first season, 2 seasons, then just had enough. Couldn't take any more of that nonsense.
Although it'd be interesting to see how many of those 6 series or whatever franchises from Game of Thrones are actually going to make production, as opposed to just be, theorized about making.
I don't know if interesting is the right word.
I think it's done now. I think it'll drop. I think people have watched Game of Thrones. They've seen the end, and it's like, if it was a prequel and it was like that, and they really pushed it, yeah. But it's like, oh, now we're gonna have one about this. Now we're gonna have one about that, and now we're gonna have so-and-so's uncle.
Yeah, who knows?
Or whatever. Yeah. What else? Is there any other hot news?
There's a Wonder Years reboot in the works.
What?
No.
I don't know if we were aware of this.
We've already got the Goldbergs.
So I'm guessing they're going to. What was it? It was 30 years previous, wasn't it? If I remember rightly. So it was set in the 60s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But not the. It was him narrating his
60s.
So I do wonder. I mean, if it's 30 years back from this time period, there wasn't really a lot. The Cold War's over. That backdrop's gone. So I don't know what it's going to be, if anything.
As Brett said, is it just going to be another Goldbergs, or is it going to be,
Yeah, but then possibly. I mean, the Golden Years wasn't an out comedy in the same way that Goldberg.
No, I just meant like setting that like a different genre, But there's been so many of them over the years. So is this going to be a 90s? Because there's been a 90s.
Well, they've already done that with School, the spin-off of the Goldbergs.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Who knows? But apparently Fred Savage is going to direct the pilot. So for the purists out there's at least a tenuous link.
Fair enough. Okay then. Well, what about moving into next week then? What are we watching? What's on our lists? What have we got going on?
Well, Willy's.
Hello.
Okay. You got
We're going to be watching Willy's. There we go.
Certainly going to be an edit there. Willy's Wonderland's on the list.
Is that available?
I'm sure. I'm gonna have to look now, but it's definitely available because I've already rented it. Yeah, I think it's Amazon Prime that I rented it.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go back to that superhero nonsense. Feature. It's not nonsense. It's just not bad, is it? I said last week it's not bad, and I'll go back to it. I said I would, and I will. What's it called? Grown-up superheroes killing each other.
The Boys.
The
Boys. That's the badger. I think that's my viewing for the next couple of days. I kind of need to be detox from 4 hours of bleakness.
What about yourself, Paul?
So on Netflix, there's a couple of things. There's a Yin Yang Master, which looks alright. It's a kung fu type thing where there's a evil bad guy from the different realm, I think, where they go off and just help defeat them. Don't know anything other about that, but it looks watchable, to coin my phrase. And the other one on Netflix, at least I'm hoping it's on Netflix and not the other Amazon VOD, is The One. And I was going to give the first episode of this a watch and see if it's any good. So the trailer looks okay. Again, it's probably one of these series which is easy to polish off in a week. But yeah, it's just been released, and I might get the first episode to watch of that and see if it's any good.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go and try and watch Debris, or at least the first one, which is what we talked about the other day. Debris. Or Debris, depending on where you're from. And the other thing I'm hoping to try and watch is the Kid 90 documentary, which was based on all of the... do you remember Punky Brewster, Soleil Moonfry, her real name, and real like 90s or 80s to 90s kid stuff, where she apparently carried a video camera everywhere through like her whole life, by the sound of it, or at least through her teenage years, and has like got all this footage of everyone from sort of you can think of from TV and all that from these times at parties and everything, and they've made it into like this big documentary about like being like a TV star, film star growing up from like the 80s, child stars growing up in the 80s, 90s, and it's like her, the 90210 lot. Charlie Sheen pops in and says hello.
I bet he does.
He does. You're spot on.
Dragon's blood.
Tiger blood.
No, tiger blood. Sorry.
Tiger blood. But yeah, so I mean that's going to be. I think that'll be interesting to watch. I think you get the ups and the downs. I think she filmed everything, and no one seemed to mind her having a video camera there, especially in those days when they were like £500. And you had to like, in weight.
I was going to say, I'm more impressed that she just carries it around all that time.
So that's okay. And also, I'll try and get near the end of season 1 of Resident Alien, so that's more exciting. Now I know that there will be a season 2. So yeah, and just see what else is around. Really, might try and catch The Banishing as well, if that's out yet. That looks good.
Right, I think that just about wraps us up for this episode. I think nothing else left to say other than don't forget to rate and subscribe on your favourite podcast app, be that Google Play, if that's a thing, I'm not sure.
Apple,
YouTube,
Spotify.
That was the one I was trying to think of.
We're on them all.
We're on them all. Even our website has the podcast on. So it's goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
That's a goodbye from them.
From Pom Pom. Good night.
Can I get a jelly?
Men in capes.
Segway.
I can't bother to Google it. It's not worth it.
What's in that pipe?
Are you being a toxic chowder head?
Hey, what's coming up in the news?